Hello, everyone. Welcome to Weekends with Amit, and I wish all of you a very happy 2023. With New Year comes another thing, which is just like congealed together, the resolution part that I am talking about. People take New Year resolutions. It's the beginning of a new period, and people find themselves motivated to think about listing things which they must do. And experience goes, I don't know about you, but for me at least, a lot of times they just remain there on paper as something that we wish for. So, should we even keep them? That is the subject today. Today's subject is New Year resolutions. Should we keep them? And to talk about it, let us welcome Professor Amit Goswami and Dr. Valentina Onisar. A very warm welcome, both of you. I wish both of you a very happy 2023. Today is 1st of January, and there are a lot of enthusiasm in the air. And right off, we'll move to Professor Goswami to comment on the topic today. Should we keep New Year resolutions?
Thank you, Krishna. Well, I am in all favor of making New Year resolutions. Although, like Krishna said, uh, resolutions are a bit funny to make because we don't make it seriously. Uh, Part of the reason is that it is common for New Year's celebration, New Year's Eve, when that 12 o'clock comes, to imbibe alcohol is a very common thing. And, under alcohol, we become a little funny because our suppressed uh, funniness or seeing the world as amusing that comes out. So if you don't imbibe too much, you really can enjoy this jovial mood that alcohol can put you in. And in that mood, if you make a resolution, you are not going to take it seriously. But of course, we can also make the resolution on New Year's Day in the morning. And this is what I support. Why is a resolution good? Look, we talk about manifestation a lot. We have desires, some of our heart desire, some of our desires about meaning and purpose of life. Those desires are serious. Those are the concerns of human beings throughout their adult life. Intimate relationship, find happiness in that and find happiness in exploring meaning and purpose. And both of these explorations not only have various obstacles facing us to fulfill, but also the steps of the fulfillment are not easy. If we actually do it, we find that the steps can be strenuous, requires resilience, requires a lot of repeating. Just as learning anything takes a lot of repeating. Unless you repeat, it does not become conditioned software on which you can count on, that it will come to you when the need arises. And we need this good software. So we make resolution. Make resolutions of both kinds. Negative, we keep the negative away. So we make resolutions. I'll stop drinking too much. I'll stop being negative emotional so much. I'll stop being so selfish. That kind. We also make positive resolutions. I'll be more positive. I'll laugh more. I'll meditate every day. I'll do yoga every day. I'll do this and that every day, and so forth. But both kinds, we try to do them, and then we lose interest, we get lost in our day to day life, in our day to day struggles. And that's why we need to remind us one again and again. So, not only I support resolution, but I think that it is let us do it properly. Properly doing resolutions recognizes that look, it's not a one-time thing a year. We have to do it every now and then. Now in most countries in the world, there are seasons. Some countries have maybe one or two, but many countries have four seasons. And these four seasons have a reason for it. There are the solstices, when the weather, climate, all that changes in a major way, and then there are equinoxes, when the changes are considerable but relatively minor. So, New Year resolution falls in the solstice, winter solstice, and summer solstice in southern hemisphere. Likewise, there is summer solstice, and those are the two where resolutions are very, very appropriate. And then equinoxes are the two others. And again, there are ceremonies, like Jews have Passover near the spring equinox. Hindus have New Year near the spring equinox. So in that way. And then of the birthdays of the great masters of wisdom. Jesus' birthday we just celebrated 25th of December. That's solstice, winter solstice, or summer solstice in the southern hemisphere. Then we have Buddha's birthday. That's in May, a little away from the, it's kind of in between the equinox and solstice. But then there are other birthdays of great people that, like India, Krishna's birthday is celebrated. That's in August. It's again in between. So what I'm saying is that we can make the solstices, equinoxes, and then these birthdays of great people to find quite a few times in the year that we make resolutions and we keep track which resolutions are keeping and which aren't. How to make resolutions count? This is the one subject that you need to know. Life, according to quantum science, we are just discovering this treasure trove of what we can do, our potentialities. From quantum science and wisdom traditions have done this a long time ago, but now it is scientific. And believe me, with science, we can see our path clearer and better. And seems like that what we call human values that originate in what Plato called archetypes, those are the things that decide our life's meaning and purpose, including the romance part that I talked about, the relationship part, the intimate relationships that we covet. All of it is really archetypal pursuit. So, how to tune in with the movement of consciousness is the problem. See, we make resolutions, this and that, and this way, that way, but we are not tuned. That's not part of where the movement of consciousness is going. And when that happens, resolutions are useless. The part of the resolution is how can we be in tune with the movement of consciousness? And it takes patience, it takes time, it takes seeing what catches and what doesn't. Most time our New Year resolutions are frivolous, so they don't catch. That's not the fault of the process of resolution. It's fault of ours. We are not doing it seriously. We are not doing it with tuning with the movement of consciousness in mind. We are not doing it in order to be successful. We are not doing it in order to make meaning of life, meaning, purpose of life come to fruition. We are not doing it to find relationship in our life that satisfies. Do it for a purposive approach to life, and you will be surprised how important resolutions can be. You still have to renew the resolution, as I said. As many times you can set it up, like we already have 2 equinoxes, 2 solstices every year. In addition, you have your favorite teacher, guru, whatever you want to call them, wise people. They may lack in modern times, agree. There are very few wise people in the moral sense, in the spiritual sense today. You won't find a single wise person in Harvard or Princeton or whatever these universities. They're all bogus. They're all looking for name, fame, money. That's not what I look for wisdom. Wisdom is something else, and we all know what it is. I don't have to explain what it is. Wisdom, we recognize when we see them, when we feel them in our heart, if you have a heart. So, where do we go with finding the attunement with the movement of consciousness? If we try to do it with the brain, we also fail. We have to bring the heart into the affair. The more we use the brain, the more our tendency is the rational mind, and we become machine like. The more we use the heart, the more readily we can go into intuitions, and our tuning to consciousness becomes better. Consciousness does not communicate to us in machine like way. Consciousness communicates with us through intuitions. The objects that we experience in intuitions are the archetypes. They are the key. How do we tune in? We tune in to the heart, feelings in the body. This is why, in a way, being relaxed actually helps us. So, imbibing, as I said, a little bit frees us a little bit from the brain, and that's good. But it does us no good if the heart correspondingly is not open. So, today, what we'll do, we'll take you through meditations to go into the heart that will inspire. And after that is done, then we'll do another meditation of how to put yourself in tune with the movement of consciousness. Now we have a person right before you, Valentina, whose heart is very open. She will lead us to a heart meditation. After she talks a little bit, gives a preamble and go. Okay, Valentina, your turn.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. So for me, this ending of the year and starting the new year, it's a very important time. And as you saw in the previous webinar, we spoke about this winter solstice, especially in the northern hemisphere, and that state of kind of pratyahara, so with withdrawing of the senses, that is facilitating very much deep state of meditation. Actually, even there are in various parts of the world people who are doing retreats in Mauna, let's say, or even aiming towards the revelation of the self, actually. So in this period, this type of meditation is more facilitated. So then it's another kind of practice. It's not just the usual type of meditation that it's usually emphasized. It's a very different meditation, this revelation on the self meditation. And we have various meditations, and as Amit says, there are even a special, very, very well charged moments, where we can meditate in unison in an easier way to perceive various resonances with various masters that have lived on this planet, or various astrological influences. And through this power of the unison, the non-locality, even if we are at distance, this is very much facilitated. And I would recommend to whoever can, to take this time to recollect, to see, for example, to also look back in your life and connect the dots, the dots meaning defining moments in your life until now, not just people, but also various moments, little moments, bigger moments, so any kind of important moments that reveal your soul prints. And again, recollecting various life situations, putting together different places, people, situations, going even far enough in the past and identify who and what was the major influencer in your life. Yeah. So what major events, both good and apparently bad, have marked your life until now. So for me, it's important to reflect even on this moment, and to see what lessons have you learned because of them, consciously or not consciously, and what all these moments and people are reflecting about you, and to notice how apparently insignificant events for others actually changed your entire trajectory for you, for example. Yeah. Like passing comets, if you want, which can actually have sometimes prophetic effects, so an idea is to start in this way, in this period, and also eventually ask yourself, what have you done with your life until now? So this is part of the hero's journey, actually, to really see where we are. Yeah, because wherever we are, it's good. Just the thing is that we have to become aware. The more aware we become, the better we prepare to do anything with our life, to start from no matter where we are. Yeah. And again, because of course, one of our life's idea is to be happy. Yeah? And we are permanently, no matter where we are, looking for this happiness. Yeah. And again, without a practice of attention, as maybe most of you know, a kind of continuity of attention, we cannot go into transformation, and we cannot even engage into this kind of practice that Amit is suggesting now. Manifesting an intent and and so on the steps of creativity. You cannot do anything without level of attention. Yeah. And now, before setting, for example, in the last day of the year, at least, that's when we really want to set up a certain intent, and that will, of course, the intent has to be as much as possible in resonance, with your dharma, with your archetype, so that it's really according to the movement of consciousness, right? So it's not superficial intent. It has to do, first of all, with your transformation. Yeah. And before setting an intent, which again requires to have a level of attention, you need to have what is called inspiration, something that is expanding your heart. And that, again, it's easily to be done in a group, or even to meditate with some other people in the same time. And anything that is relaxing your heart actually has a chance to take you there. Now, again, taking you back to the subject I started with. So a way for me, the way to end the year would be to go deeper, and to even, again, practice whatever you can in order to just really know yourself, um, because again, as I said, this meditation on the self is not on the self. So how to say, it's actually about revealing, allowing this self to reveal. It's very different than the usual meditation, and it will appear, this kind of meditation, due to a very deep introspection. And then we realize gradually that even if usually we identify with all these various roles and aspects according to our social integration, for example, these are just roles and hypostases. So no matter how good roles you're in and or not, yeah, behind all of these roles and hypostases, and experiences and actions, there is something, there is a formidable I am, or aham in Sanskrit, that is always the same. So for me, this is the meditation I would suggest to go in. And then again, so I'm just going to tell you still a few words about this, and then just, for example, in the last day, in the last moments of the last day of this year, you can really, with perceiving all this power that comes from your very own being, then you should practice this inspiration and intent and so on, and prepare to jump, because it is a hiatus between the years, and you're charging yourself and your life in this hiatus with something which really has a meaning and purpose there, and can propulsate you actually in the next year in a proper way. Yeah. So again, the idea is to, at least for these days, try to stop the usual identification with what you're not. Yeah. So, and if you do that, what remains is what you are. So that's the main principle of. It's a long method, and again, we have examples of people who really got to this question of who am I eventually. And it's not about running away from the world, actually, as usually think about this. But again, I just think it's not a meditation upon the self, it's a meditation of revealing the self. And the idea is that we can create the conditions, we can work on creating the conditions for this revelation. Which revelation, again, it comes from Latin. It means revelare, which means to come back to the initial moment, to the origin, and velare, which means to put a veil, to cover. So it's the idea is to come back to what was there initially, to what has been covered, veiled. Yeah. And again, we have beautiful veils that we usually have. So no matter where we are, no matter how evolved and how developed we are, the idea is still we are still getting so lost in all kind of roles and hypostases there. And for me, the end of the year, it's about that more. So it's about how to say, it's more about who we are, and only secondary of what we are doing, even if, again, there are many methods. And again, even if what we do is also important, but the key is about what or who we are, who is doing all this meditation. So just to ask ourselves about this. And again, now the role of all these bodies, because we are not just the physical body, we are, we have also the other bodies, and hopefully we are aware of various perceptions that come from all these bodies. So the role of all these other bodies is to help us know ourselves by mirroring our consciousness in each of them. Yeah, is the physical body, is the vital body, the mental, emotional body, intuition, ecstasy. So each of these 5 sheets who wrap, the self as it's seen in the traditions, they are offering a specific environment which is meant to help us reveal ourselves and not just forget about this. So it's if you want an analogy, if you want to see how you look, the only way is to mirror our face in a surface that reflects very well this external object. So you need a mirror. And then it's probably you look at the mirror and you get a sort of self-knowledge that without the mirror it wouldn't be possible. So again, the question would be, what do you want to be? So do you want to be yourself, or your distorted perception at the level of your koshas? Yeah. So do you want to be yourself, or let yourself defined by all these reflections, which are ephemeral, and they are offering images that are still far from who we are, no matter where we are. Yeah. So it's a choice there that it's interesting if you feel drawn towards this kind of meditation. So again, if you want to also choose, so we speak about real choice from the supramental level, when we are not ruled by ahamkara or by the ego, but you're above and use it wisely. Yeah. Because again, when all these koshas are aligned and in harmony, then the science of manifestation will work very fast. Yeah, everything, all the methods. So if we are aligned, and there's that, then we speak about the authenticity. That's how I see it. So it's not just intellectual understanding, which again is important, but is far more than that. Yeah. So it takes an awareness also about these bodies and ability to transcend all these koshas, which is offering this capacity to choose and then manifest, science of manifestation. Yeah. So the posture is of course important. So if whether you do many types of preparation meditations or just in that last day of the year, so you need to sit on the chair, you need to keep the head straight and the soles parallel on the ground, and let go any mental preoccupations, and allow yourself to create an inner silence and detachment. So there are various old aphorisms from various traditions, Tibetan tradition, which I love very much, the Tibetan yoga tradition, which is very much inspiring. Like, for example, meditating as if on this kind of aphorism, my body is like a mountain, my eyes are like an ocean, my consciousness is like the sky, for example. So it's a stability of the body in meditation. Again, in the meditation, we need to acquire a stability of the body. So the body has to be really still. When you have the body still, you give a chance also to the mind to be more still. Otherwise, it's just a monkey throwing bananas there. Yeah. Something which can help also for the stability of the mind to prepare the meditation is to move your attention on your breathing. So the level of the nostrils, simply without influencing the breathing, the air coming in and out, while you keep the body completely still. Yeah. And again, then you just allow yourself, you will see that as you relax in this kind of stillness, which can appear very quickly in many cases, you simply continue this process. And now, for example, again, after you maintain this stability of the body and the attention on your breathing, which will help you connect with your inner bodies, let's say, you can either you can move your attention in a relaxed way in your heart, yeah, and even relax more the heart area. And you can, for example, you can visualize simply a white bright light in the middle of the chest, and in a prayer state, like a child, with all that purity of a child, you can simply refer to this white bright pearl in the middle of your chest as it is expanding more and more. You can even play a very much inspiring and relaxing music if you want, and just connect with that, with in a state of prayer, as if you're really connecting with that self that actually exists and it's projected, if you want, in a subtle level in that area. Or you can, for example, you can connect from your heart to another person's heart, a person that you love. Various types of love are there, yeah, or even to a group of people. And you can visualize, for example, a ring of white bright light or golden light, which is uniting your hearts. And again, the more you do that, you just perceive all this state of relaxation and expansion that appears, and you feel suddenly more free, and bigger, let's say. Or there are other, if you want, from the yoga tradition, if you have resonance with Tibetan yoga, for example, one way to prepare for a strong meditation is to visualize your body empty inside, like a void, and gradually filled with it's called Vajrayogini. So it's a goddess in a red color, like the fire. So you can visualize how you can evoke, let's say, an aspect of Shakti or Shiva, whatever you feel that you resonate with, that as you remain stable, you can visualize how your body is feeling. You're empty. Like a vessel inside is filled gradually with this fire. Yeah. and the rays of light in the 7 colors of the rainbow are irradiating in every cell, yeah, and also on the skin with each breathing, inhaling and exhaling in waves. You can also do various types of breathing. You can breathe on one nostril and make a retention on the void and visualize, for example, the Sanskrit alphabet or the Tibetan alphabet, if you know it, or in the Christian tradition also we can visualize. Yeah. So whatever you're resonating with, while you do this breathing and inhaling and exhaling, visualizing all these sacred letters, you can also perceive how this fire is ascending on your spine from chakra to chakra or from level to level upwards. So that again can be a very good preparation. You can also visualize as if you're throwing in this fire all your impurities. If you need to forgive yourself or forgive others, now you can do that very well, again, as a preparation. And you stay with that. I mean, it would be good to not do it in a hurry, to stay, not count on the clock, because maybe you will even go in states of very deep expansion. Yeah. Okay, now another kind of meditation, for example, is it's called again in the Tibetan yoga tradition, it's visualizing on the spine smoke. Yeah, so it's called Shjiu Lus. It's a technique of the illusory body. Mahakaya is called. So it's kind of the technique that I described before. But along the spine, you visualize ascending a column of smoke or fog that gradually is filling the entire body, like a void there. Yeah, and then again, in that kind of state, eventually maybe you connect with this energy of the void, and then you can start. You can feel. So there are many ways. So again, the easiest one is to simply connect with your heart and connect with another person through your heart, and then allow yourself to feel that relaxation, expansion. But then there are other ones, like again, depends where you are. But the idea is to truly practice, for example, that stability and connecting with your breathing and connecting gradually with your inner body and perceive that state of aliveness. Yeah, how each cell becomes more and more alive. Yeah, you can even perceive how your body becomes luminous. And again, it's something that can go very deep, perceiving your inner body. Yeah, and even this, it can take you to a very, very deep meditation. It can even strengthen your immune system while you do that. Now there are many other ways. Yeah, but that's just the beginning. And let's remember that without attention, we cannot do that, and also without attention, we cannot even go far to even perceive what is our dharma. And so it's not just to do some arbitrary intentions, but we need to do some intentions that have to do with where we are. What do we need to develop right now? What are our blockages there that you really, really want to overcome? Because indeed, we can really co-create our life. We can heal ourselves at various levels. And again, we need to engage all these higher capacities that are dormant usually in our being. Yeah, and of course, eventually, all these quantum leaps that will happen, they are happening through. It's another word of divine grace, actually. Okay, now I spoke a lot. Amit.
Yeah, that was wonderful. So quickly over to Professor Goswami for his inputs.
Okay. So part of the resolution, actually main part of the resolution that we usually need to do before these transformational journeys that life is all about. And this is only life for people who are serious into becoming an original, like Valentina was talking about. Who are you? Are you that unique individual that you are destined to be? That is the question we ask when we look for meaning and purpose. Your purpose is to be that individual that you came here to be. And obstructions are a main thing, habits, that obstruct us. So negative part, we have to work on that first. For that, we often do in our workshops a ceremony which we call fire ceremony. In ancient India, these things were done very effectively. They were called yoga. The idea is to have fire as the witness of your resolution. Why fire as the witness? You all know the five elements, how ancients thought of reality. What you didn't know, don't know probably, is that five elements are a very serious theory if interpreted properly. For example, art is related to what we can sense, that solid reality. Emotions, feelings, they're not solid, they're fluid, so water, but they're not as fluid as thinking, which is very, very fluid. This is why thinking resolutions are meaningless because they're unaware very fast. So they're called air. Now, air stuff is just no good. This is what I was talking about when you are not serious. You're doing it from the brain, from the mind, not useful. So you have to involve the heart for sure, emotions. But the most important thing is the element of fire. And the ancient recognized that the fire, just like fire burns and changes things, brings out the real you, can be metaphor for transformation. And indeed, fire is connected to the what later we call supramental, beyond the mind and beyond the feelings. Intuition. Fire is about bringing the intuition to burn your impurities, so to speak, that obstructs you. So if you can have this, very simple to have, just light a little bit of fire, confined, no danger. You can do it in an apartment. Write in little pieces of paper what you want to surrender. Those habits that you don't need, that obstructing your purpose and meaning and relationships. Okay. And then throw that little piece in the fire while circumambulating the fire. Go a few times around. When you feel that you are ready, you throw it in the fire. But don't stop yet. This is where you close your eyes and you imagine, when something burns in the fire, it can give sparks. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but it can. You imagine that the sparks that are coming out from the burning of your particular paper are becoming little stars. And they're free to move in space. And they are moving. They are moving away from you. They're never going to come back. You really see them going away from you. If you visualize it this way, you will find a sense will grow of freedom. Your sorrows, your disappointment with yourself that you cannot keep your resolution will give way to a certainty. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Just like these sparkles of fire from the stuff that I surrendered are becoming little stars on their own and leaving me behind, not attached to me. Similarly, I don't have to be attached to them either. I can likewise be free. The positive side of the meditation is now to make an intention, and the intention is very simple now. Now that you're free of those things that obstruct you, you intend on what we call Dharma, the archetype of your choice, the archetype that turns you on, that inspires you. And then you pray. You pray that let this intention be in consonant, in tune with the movement of consciousness. This is the basis. This is the part which is hard. The obstructions, so long as you work with your brain, you're never going to get there. But with positive emotions, with your heart involved, with intuitions coming in, you will get there. You will get there. You will be in tune with the movement of consciousness. And then nothing can stop you from fulfilling your resolution. Should you make resolutions in this particular new year, which is just starting in the Western, sorry, it's already over. Uh, New Year is not yet. I was thinking of Christmas. New Year is there. When you hear this broadcast, it is just starting. In some places, it will start. And then that is the time to do this resolution. This is the time to do the ceremonies that we suggested. Okay. Thank you. Have a good resolution.
Thank you so much. Yes, this time I believe with these guidances, people will have a much more serious and sort of resolutions that are in consonance with the movement of consciousness and these rituals that you spoke about. But I must caution everyone here, be careful with fire. But this is a very, very powerful exercise to do. Thank you, both of you, and have a great year ahead.